Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. The Finance Minister tabled the second supplementary estimate for the 2021-2022 fiscal year in the lower house today. The $25.8 billion addition of funds is mainly to cover the cost of increased wages, programs and debt. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says government's projected spend for the 2021-2022 fiscal year has increased to $893 billion.
The $25.8 billion in additional expenditure is comprised of $8.2 billion for non-debt recurring expenditure and $17.6 billion for debt service, of which $12.6 billion represents principal repayment, i.e. the amortization of debt, and a large chunk of that has to do with debt owing by the National Water Commission, which is guaranteed by the government of Jamaica, which came due in December, and the government has paid off that liability.
Inflation and the Jamaican dollar depreciation have increased debt servicing requirements. However, the payment of the National Water Commission NWC's arrears has marginally reduced the country's debt stock. Dr. Clark says the second estimate also became necessary as 31 bargaining groups have finalized wage agreements with the government since the first supplementary estimates in October. $245 billion is the new sum earmarked for compensation.
And this represents a slight reduction from the previous first supplementary estimates because the one-off payments that are being made to public sector employees do not fall under compensation in the strict definition. They fall under program. So it's not that compensation is being reduced, it's just that it's being reallocated to the area under which it falls.
Overtime for healthcare workers will also be covered by this increased sum. Additional spending for programs and projects has also been captured.
There's also the premium for the catastrophe bond issued earlier this year, which was not fully captured in the budget, and this is being addressed under the second supplementary estimates. It should be recalled that the premium for this bond is covered by grants from the governments of the United Kingdom, Germany, and the United States. Also, Madam Speaker, within the context of the continuing impact of COVID-19, the government of Jamaica facilitated a special employment program in December 2019 through members of this House, or through the Constituency Development Fund rather, to assist some of the most vulnerable through economic activities. This required additional funding and the regularization through the second supplementary estimates.
The government plans to fund this budget with an expected $11 billion revenue increase, $5 billion in funds from loans and $9 billion rolled over from the previous fiscal year. The Bank of Jamaica has intervened in the foreign currency market for the third time since the start of the year. The central bank offered up $20 million in a flash sale this morning. 6 banks and 3 cambios were successful in their bids. Citibank, National Commercial Bank, NCB, JMB Securities and Grace Kennedy Currency Trading Services received the majority share. This brings to a total $100 million the sum pumped into the market by the Bank of Jamaica since the start of 2020. And after today's intervention, authorized dealers are selling the US dollar for an average $155.13. $123.04 is the going rate for the Canadian dollar, $211.56 for the pound, while the euro is trading at $178.17. The JSE index lost 2,598 points, while the junior market index declined by 17 points. Among today's winners were Palace Amusement, First Rock Capital Holdings US dollar shares, JMB Group 7.5% shares, Cygnus Credit Investments US dollar shares, and Everything Fresh, while on the losing side were T-Tech, Salada Foods, Mailpack, Guardian Group, and Jamaica Producers Limited. And that's it for the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Stay with us. Regional and international news are after the break.